It's okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Daily, a weekly podcast where I talk about myself, Ben Dailey, and my journey of becoming a stand-up comedian full-time. I know, very original idea. I've thought about this for a while, and I have not done it because, podcasts are a dime a dozen, and lights are tough to find, and you can obviously tell I've got... Well, I threw a blanket behind me. The shadow's not good. Whatever. Just going to kind of talk about, this is the first one. Again, welcome. I'm going to just kind of talk about my journey. I know probably 0 people are going to watch this in the beginning, but maybe after a year I'll have like 6 people who have stumbled across this. So, exciting stuff. No, but in all honesty, it's been a very fun process so far. I'm about 4 years into stand-up comedy. Last year, 2022. Was a very big year for me. A lot of growth, a lot of opportunity, kind of get down on the road, doing some longer sets, things like that. So it was very exciting. Going to get some electrolytes. Just went for a run. Get some noon in there. 2022 is very fun. It's February 2023 as the time of recording this. But just a quick recap on 2023. Which is probably what I'll do with this podcast, just to give kind of a brief overview. Like I said, just kind of talk about my journey as a stand-up comedian, shows I've done, shows that are coming up, things I'm working on, fun shows, bad shows, visiting different cities, things that I can improve, things that I think I'm maybe doing well. Just kind of share it all, give my input, get maybe in a year 6 people's input if everybody replies and tells me that I'm the podcast is terrible and my stand-up is terrible, but that's okay. You know what? It probably is. But no, 2022 in a recap was very fun. It was my first year kind of getting out on the road, being able to stretch my legs a little bit, doing some longer sets, 20, 30 minutes, doing a handful of tours through the Midwest with a couple good buddies. It was very, very fun, good learning experience, getting some different crowds outside of the city. We went to some cities, some middle of nowhere. It was very fun. Last March was kind of the start of the big introduction to the road. Set up a tour, 5 or 6 days through the Midwest. Did shows in a handful of places, breweries, community theaters, did Boss's Comedy Club in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That was very fun. I got to do 2 shows there in one night. That was actually very fun. That was probably one of the funnest shows of last year out on the road. But did a run through a couple states there, Iowa, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas. Did a lot of local shows, which was super fun. I think I did over 100 shows last year, which was really cool. That was one of my goals, to do that. A lot of those shows I had kind of produced instead of myself, but that's also good. A lot of learning experience in running your own shows, figuring out how to get people into venues, figuring out how to host, learning with all that. And this year, hoping to do even more. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to trying to monetize things a little bit better. My social media, not good. I cannot tell you how much I do not like being on social media. It's just too much. It's too much. My brain cannot just do a little bit, It's the same way with sugar. I can't just be an adult and have a couple M&Ms and be like, those, that was good. Time to go to bed. No, I'm like, give me the whole bag and then let's order some more. It's not good. I just got a new phone, and I realized that what I'm doing, what I just figured out the phone can do is you can put a time limit on your apps, and that's helped a lot. But it kind of feels like an adult, I'm an adult, and it feels like I'm giving myself time out, which is kind of a strange thing. But all good. Got to promote. Gonna try to push. I don't know how much I want to. I'm always hesitant to share material on Reels. I know a lot of people are doing that. I don't know what the right thing to do is, but we'll see. Hopefully I can organically grow my following, grow my following a little bit, just being on the road, meeting people. We will see. But 2022 was very fun. Like I said, did that run in March, did a couple shows in Wyoming in May. Really bombed on one. That was good. Gillette. Apologies to the people there for that performance. Did Cody the next day. That was very fun. Very good time at a brewery in Cody, Wyoming. Did what else did I do? Like I said, decent amount of shows in town, some kind of corporates, things like that, where the money's a little bit better. Shows were actually decent. A lot of people talk about those shows being kind of the bad ones. Some weren't great, but, no horrible bombing stories for those. Then in August, did another run through Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. A lot of people turned out for that. That was a decent moneymaker. Man, it hurt my soul a little bit, though. It was, Tulsa. Tulsa was very fun. That was a good show. A little local theater there. Very fun. Had a good time there. The other shows, if people ask me, I would say they were great. They were not great. They were rough, pretty rough, and that's okay. Got back from there, did another run through Nebraska, which was fun with a couple buddies. Some pretty good shows there. Did a run through Kansas with a couple different buddies, which was also very fun. Very interesting, some rowdy crowds there. And that was November, the Kansas run. And now we're in February 2023, looking at setting up a run in Virginia, where I'm from, which should be fun. Looking forward to doing comedy in front of friends and family, kind of for the first time ever. So that should be interesting. Should be a good time, seeing some people maybe I haven't seen in a long time. But yeah, what's going on right now? What do I got? January was very fun. I think I did 15 shows in January, which is, I think, maybe the most shows I've ever done in a month, which was pretty exciting. February, a little bit lighter. Only have maybe 5 or 6 shows in February. It's mid-February right now. Did a show last week at Grandma's house. A fun weekly show in Denver. Very good show. It was packed out. It's always packed out, but it was like so packed out I couldn't even put my tripod anywhere. I had to walk up like these... The back warehouse area where the show has like this pushable walking stairs that you like Home Depot or whatever, you can walk up and grab your top shelf wood or whatever you do with it. And I had to put my tripod on there. There was literally zero room to put it in the room. So, man, I'll tell you guys what. I just ran and I feel like I don't know if it's the way I'm sitting, but I'm like struggling not to breathe very loudly. Gotta get that oxygen in. Yeah, but that was a fun show. Doing a couple shows this week. I think a couple shows this week, then a couple shows out of town the week after in Greeley and another spot out of town. So March, got a couple things coming up. Looking forward to those. Like I said with this podcast, we'll figure out the format. This first one's probably going to be pretty short, just kind of catching you up to my situation where I'm at. Like I said, 4 years in the comedy, just trying to figure it out, get better, get the reps in, get the experience in, figure it out, and be as funny as possible, keep learning. And, yeah, so I'll talk about your typical things, what I've been doing, what I have coming up, exciting things. If I bomb real bad, I'll, probably say it, maybe not. We'll see how hard it hurts my heart. Talk about good shows. And yeah, I got a little piece of paper here with stuff. And, what are we at? 10 minutes? Good Lord. People do an hour. Yeah, like I said, I went through the tours of last year. It was super fun. A lot of those tours I was hosting, or at least going first. A lot of the tours that I went on, it wasn't necessarily hosting. It was kind of like 3 people, and each of us did 20 to 30 minutes. But I would either host or I would go first. So either host or kind of host in the sense of shotgun style, going first, shotgun style being I go up and then I bring the next person up and then I'm done. I don't have to come up later. That next person will bring the next person up, as opposed to a host who would kind of go up in between each set. But that's the most difficult spot. But I was the least experienced, so it made sense, and I certainly learned a lot. Bringing energy at the beginning of the show is pretty important, and when you're newer to it, it can be more difficult to do that, get comfortable, but comfortability comes with experience, and that was something I feel like I really picked up on last year. Got to do, like I said, some longer sets, in the city, doing 5 to 10, maybe 15 minutes is kind of a standard showcase setup. A lot of people, there's a ton of comics here in Denver, Colorado, where I live and do stand-up comedy. And yeah, that's kind of the 5 to 15 minutes is kind of your common time frame here in the city. But outside of the city, I was able to do 20 to 30 minutes. I think I did 30 minutes maybe, 5 to 10 times, which is just a different thing. It's pretty cool to do longer sets. When you're doing 5, 10, 15 minutes, you can just bring the heat, just do the hits, rip, try to rip, hopefully rip. The whole time when you're doing longer sets, you gotta, make sure you're going along with the ebbs and the flows of the crowd. Sometimes they're less into a bit than others. You gotta make sure you keep their attention, and that's a different skill set. So good to get the reps, good to learn from that. What do I got here? Yeah, I'm last year was also big. I guess 2021 technically I started running shows, but 2021 and 2022 were big for. I was running quite a few shows, probably too many shows. I got up to like 5 monthly shows at one point, which is just too much to deal with. It was very overwhelming to try to book and advertise and host and all of the above. It was a lot of work. It's a good learning experience for sure, but now I'm down to 1 or 2 monthly shows, which is nice. Have a show that I'm doing with another comic here in Denver. We're both splitting the responsibilities at Odell Brewing, which is a very fun show. And then have another show. I'm not sure if it's still going on or not. We'll have to see. But looking for a couple other venues. Would like to get maybe 2, maybe 3 good, solid monthly shows that are fun for me and for the comics, and obviously for the crowds as well. Yeah. What else? I'm in between jobs right now. I should be starting a new job soon. So that'll be a bit of a transition, but excited. That's what people say. Excited. I'm excited. I'm always excited. Does anybody ever not say that? You know what? I'm just not, man. Not looking forward to it. Oh, man. Noon. Very good. You guys drink Noon? Let me know in the comments. All 0 people watching this. Let me know. Yeah, like I said, social media, I don't know about you guys. I was just way too addicted to it. Instagram and Facebook specifically. Just looking at it aimlessly. Not feeling productive at all. Just way too much. So I deleted it for the month of January here of this year, and then I brought it back and I put like a 15-minute limit on it. And it stinks because it's very important with comedy in a way, to like advertise shows and just kind of stay relevant, which stinks to say, but that's kind of part of it. Just showing everybody you're out there doing the thing. Yeah, that's kind of part of it. I forgot my point of social media and Instagram, trying to get away from it. Yeah. But, what I was going to say is follow me. Follow, just as I say, as I'm trying to quit it or stay away from it. Follow me, if you're interested in following kind of the comedy journey, or upcoming shows, things like that. Or, I don't know, maybe I'll post this podcast updates on there. Who knows? I'll have to see. I'm not sure if I'm going to put this, like I said, I'm going to call it the Weekly Daily. My name is Ben Dailey, so a little play on the, calendar, I guess. And yeah, at Ben Dailey Comedy on Instagram, Facebook. You can also Linktree is a website. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Website/app that shows like show dates. So it'll have a link to where you can buy tickets or kind of a tour schedule or show schedule on a website. So that's link. I think it's link.tree.com or linktr.ee. I don't know. Put in Linktree into Google Chrome and it'll pop up at Ben Dailey Comedy for all of those. Wow, man. You would think that I'm running right now. I don't know if you guys, any breathing experts out there? What's a breathing doctor? It's probably just like a regular doctor. Most of them probably know a little bit about breathing, I would imagine. 12 years of school, they're probably not coming out like, what is that? Never heard of breath. Last thing I'll mention, so like I said, I'm going to keep this one short. I don't know. You guys let me know if anybody cares. What's a good podcast length? Should I do 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour? I feel like most people do an hour. I don't know if people want to hear me for 20 minutes, let alone an hour. So, let me know. But probably what I'll end this podcast, what I'll end the podcast in is maybe just a segment talking about kind of what I'm working on to give you an idea of what's in my head when it comes to thinking about stand-up comedy, the process, writing jokes. And if I'm doing this weekly, kind of just in that moment, what I'm working on. So at the moment, I'm working, trying to work and get better at writing stories. So if you don't, making stories funny, I guess I should say, to be more specific. If you don't do comedy yourself, essentially, stories can be very difficult. A lot of people start out comedy like their first time, myself included. You think stories are going to be just hilarious because you've told your friends, you've told people that know you. They've known you for maybe years. They know your personality. They have all the background, peripheral information about you. So when you tell a story, maybe they're more inclined to listen. They're more interested because they know the background of these people in your life that you're maybe talking about. When you do that with stand-up comedy, you're telling the story to strangers. And not only are you telling it to strangers, you're telling it to people who are like, make me laugh. So it's a different thing. So many people, like I said, myself included, go into stand-up comedy. Like my first couple months, I was just like, I'll just tell these stories that have made friends laugh, and I'll probably be famous, like immediately. And you go do that, and you just bomb, and nobody cares. They're like, we don't know your friends. We don't know your life. You literally have zero jokes in this story. And so over time, what you kind of learn is writing stories is not as easy as it is. You have to have like organic laugh points, every 15, 20 seconds. And when you're talking about, maybe a story that takes 5 minutes to tell, and if you don't have more than a couple laugh points in there, that's just not good enough. So the thing I'm working really hard on is just trying to figure that out, trying to figure out the formula of how do I get organic punchlines into a story so it doesn't seem corny or forced, which has been a lot more difficult than I've imagined. And also another thing I learned with storytelling, I figured like one story out, I feel like one story I feel like I've been able to put into my stand-up comedy act and like be worthwhile, successful. And with that, I've kind of learned that you also have to, with stories, you kind of, this maybe sounds obvious, but something that I'm kind of picking up more recently, has to have a beginning, middle, and end. Most importantly, an end. You got to tie a bow on it at the end. You can't just do this long-winded thing and then just kind of like go on to another thing without a conclusion. So that can be a difficult thing too, especially if like your story maybe is very funny, but it doesn't really have an ending. So trying to figure out, not that you want to lie, but maybe you take that story and kind of divert it to some other thing that kind of connects with the story to give it an ending. I don't know. So that's what I'm working on now. Again, if any comics or any non-comics suggestions, let me know. What's your process. One thing the main thing I've thought about and haven't done a ton of but need to do more of is trying to fit tangents into stories. So maybe you tell the story as is, and then in that story there's a bunch of topics, obviously. You're talking about going to the grocery store, and there's a funny thing at the grocery store, and kind of each point of the grocery store, you're getting in your car, you're driving on the driveway, the highway, the parking lot, you're bagging your groceries, you're looking at all those things are like little topics that maybe you can tangent and be like, oh, the car, speaking of cars, and then kind of tangent into maybe some jokes there, and then go back to the story. So you're at least peppering jokes in there if you can't think of a joke kind of naturally in just the natural course of the story. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Still trying to figure it out. Like I said, last year was a big growth period for me. A big year with a lot of opportunities that gave me a lot of things that I was able to learn. And I feel like I leveled up quite a bit, and I feel a lot more confident and comfortable in my ability to make people laugh, to be comfortable on stage. But I mean, like I said, only 4 years in. I mean, people say it takes decades, and I'm sure it does. You kind of just keep doing it, get better and better, and that's the way it goes. So, yeah, I'll end it there. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I'm going to try to do this weekly. If you have any input or thoughts on what you want to hear in the weekly daily, let me know. Like I said, this is kind of the first one, so it could go in a lot of different directions, but kind of just want to give you guys an idea of my journey and what I'm going through and what I'm doing, trying to pursue comedy as a profession. So, yeah, I'll end it there. Thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, follow me on social media. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. But until next time, thanks so much, guys.